Hi everybody, thank you for tuning into another episode of Dear Younger Self. I'm your host, Michelle, the Fear Girl, and today we're going to be discussing self-love and self-image with my friend, Odette Cressler.
Hi everyone!
Odette is a health coach, founder of the Harmony Tribe. I find her story fascinating and very inspiring because she went from eating disorders, recovery, to now helping other people feel comfortable in their own skin and have a healthy lifestyle. She even helped me. Last year, she challenged me to do 30 days of healthy living. It completely changed the way that I look at food now.
You read labels now.
I read labels.
It's a big thing.
I measure things. So I met Odette. How did we?
Well, I think I reposted one of her photos and we just started connecting on social media. And she has been one of those people that has made me believe in the power of friendships through social media because now we're like in the flesh.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
If you would have to describe your teenage self using only 3 words, which words would you use?
I was very insecure, but also optimist at the same time and a little bit confused. I grew up, thankfully, in an environment where nothing was lacking, but the standards of the people in that environment that I grew up in were very high. I was feeling insecure all the time, comparing myself to other people. It was always just very confusing in terms of when you're growing up, you're trying to find your identity, but I didn't know how much I could be myself without sacrificing that standard.
This is ridiculous.
So you say in your letter that you sometimes felt like a chameleon trying to fit in.
So I feel like a lot of the times my actions were driven by what I thought other people would like instead of just without any fear, just being myself and going for it, you know?
If you could go back now, what would you change in that moment?
The biggest fear that I had at that age was being rejected for actually being who we are. I was actually never intensely rejected, but I felt that I could be. So it was the fear of something that wasn't even real that even prevented me from just being myself. I struggled with eating disorder, but I was never overweight. I never had big braces or things that I thought that some other kids would get picked on for. I didn't have that. So that made me even more confused. Like, why can't I play with them if I'm normal?
So if you would have to think about one of the proudest moments of your life, what would that be?
I think that when I finally admitted that I needed help, when I was really, really into my eating disorder and I surrendered, it was a huge deal for me because I was probably more scared than ever in my life, but I also, on the other hand, was very tired of not liking myself. It gets very exhausting. It actually was very scary, but it felt nice to just surrender and ask for help. Kind of a perfectionist, and I like thinking that I can do everything alone. So a lot of the times I used to tell myself, I'm not sick, I can do this. But then I would always do it again. So I kept feeling like a failure. And I was just tired of that. And I decided to surrender and put my hands up and ask for help and be vulnerable instead. And it was probably the best decision I've made for my life and my family and everything.
And how long it took you?
I was very sick for about 10 years. When you're sick with an eating disorder, it's like your comfort and your coping mechanism. So at first, you kind of like it. It's so messed up. And then after you start realizing how much harm you're doing to yourself. So it was when I met my husband and started actually becoming more of a grown-up that I was like, you don't want this life and you don't deserve this life. I knew that, but I didn't really believe that. I wanted to get help, but I was very scared of rejection once again, that if my husband knew everything that was happening to me, that he would reject me or think that I was crazy and he didn't have to deal with someone like me.
But he married you.
I know, so he loved me, but I also didn't always tell him the truth. I was just very scared that he would want to walk away from me. I went to a 30-day program where I would go every morning and then leave in the afternoon. It was an full immersion program, and it's what I needed, and I think I was ready. Sometimes things don't really click in our heads until we're ready, but I was just ready.
So you wish you would have done this earlier in your life?
I felt like it happened at the right time, at the time that I needed it and that I was gonna actually use the help, because I saw a lot of girls there who maybe were there because their parents sent them, but then they just didn't want to be there and they didn't do anything. And I was like, I'm here to get better, and I'm not going to leave until I have the tools to like fight this because I'm tired.
So you mentioned in your letter how negative self-talk was affecting you so much, and I want to know what kind of things you were telling yourself, and also what strategies did you use in order to overcome that negative self-talk?
So there are a lot of things when you have an eating disorder that are called behaviors that you do. Negative self-talk simply means when you tell yourself mean things, when you are a bully to yourself, like I am fat, I am not good enough, I'm never going to find the right person for me. And something that really helped me was that when I went to therapy, they told us, you need to understand that you are not that person who's telling you bad stuff about yourself. You need to learn to separate yourself and learn that that is not your best self. So a little tip and tool was that they told us, give a name to that inner bully. Give a name. So my name's Odette, and it comes from the Swan Lake, and the Swan Lake has two swans, the white one and the black one. And the black one is the mean swan, or the bad swan, and her name is Odelia. So just because of my name, I was like, this is perfect. I have like a pseudo name. Every time that I'm having negative thoughts about myself, literally I'm like, shut up, Odelia, like I hear you, but go take a walk. It is not the true me, it is not the best me, it is not the authentic me.
I will definitely find a name
for
my mean inner self. If you think of any names that I should use, please let me know in the comments below. So what last advice would you have, or would you give another girl that is right now struggling with self-love or self-image issues?
I think the best thing we can do for ourselves is understand that we should not compare ourselves to other people. There's a saying that I really like that I read in a book once that says, look in the mirror, not the glass. We should look at the mirror instead of looking at other people. And I think that confronting ourselves is a good thing, and loving ourselves and accepting ourselves instead of focusing on other people. In the end, I think as personally my own journey, my goal is to be as close to myself as I can be, always. Be honest with yourself. What makes you feel good? What doesn't? And then what doesn't make you feel good, you have the right to push it aside.
Do show how amazing you are and self-promote yourself as much as you want, and love yourself first, obviously, but then also show a little bit of the struggle and what you are going through, and that will not hurt anyone. Now, before we wrap this up, I want you to challenge the audience to do something that is maybe outside of their comfort zone this week.
Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, I posted a photo on my social media of what a photo could look like versus what a photo actually is like. I was posing so differently that my body type looks very different. And I just wanted to show my audience that it's not always the way that it looks like on social media. It was very hard. I actually did not want to share that photo. It was very outside of my comfort zone.
I loved it.
I was like, sometimes when you're scared the most is when you need to do things the most. I put it out there, and not only did I feel great because I was being true to myself, but I also felt like my audience could relate to me, because nobody is perfect. So the challenge here is for you guys to, in your own context, maybe share something that is genuinely you and that maybe you wouldn't post normally.
It was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this great advice with all of us, and we're so inspired by you, honestly, that I'm so happy that
Thank you guys. Keep being you. Keeping you. Everyone is so special in their own way, so just believe in yourselves, please.
And make online friends, and then become real friends, and then stay at their house, because they're awesome houses. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you everybody for watching today's video. I hope you enjoy it, and to watch the full interview you have to go to Hello Fears podcast on iTunes. What? You didn't know we had a podcast? Now you do! Woohoo! I can't wait to see if you're brave enough to do this week's challenge. I know it's not easy, but I have a great prize for you, because this is a huge challenge. I get it. I'll be giving away this pair of really cool Ray-Bans. They're brand new, you can see right there. And I guess I'll see you guys next week. Bye guys!